Wow, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear.
Good evening. Did you hear that okay? I'll bring her down soon, Brad.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Planning Committee. No, I'm not. Oh, you can't hear me? Darn.
I can hear you.
How was Bonbon today, Mary?
I won 5 times. That's awesome. Like a record. So that was very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Andy, you're back now from Nashville? Were you in
Yeah.
Nashville?
I'm not back. Got 4 days worth of work I had to do today. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make this meeting. I'm going to have to work after this meeting's over for sure.
Was the trip fun or business?
Fun.
My husband and I are trying to decide if we should go to Nashville or do the bourbon tour.
It was worth all 193 emails when I got back.
Well, that's a good recommendation.
The city is a little dirtier than I was expecting. Like, there's trash everywhere, even in the non-downtown area, like
Really?
suburbs, and the roads were just atrocious. Like, giant potholes everywhere on the highways. But a lot of homeless people downtown Nashville. It was kind of interesting, but
Is there a lot of crime then, too?
no, I don't know. I didn't experience any crime that I was a victim of. No, it was fun. I would definitely go there again. So if you need any tips on where to go, I got a big list.
I will. You're on.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Planning.
right, the time is about 6:40 PM. I'd like to call to order the March 10th, 2022 regular Plan Commission meeting for the City of Columbus. Matt, will you please call the roll?
Sure.
Present.
Bash.
Here.
Arnold.
Here.
Motif. Traxler.
Here.
Who did I miss? Oh, Tylen.
Here.
And Myers.
Here.
I missed the two. Yeah.
Did you call Bastion?
I did. I thought. Brad, did I?
Yep, you did. I'm here. Still here.
All right. We do have a quorum. Everybody's present.
All right. This meeting has been properly noticed according to the laws of the state. Item number 4 is to approve the agenda that we're working with tonight. That's in your packets. Take a moment, review it, and I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve or amend.
It's a little hard to hear you, Ryan.
Could you use your mic when you're talking, please?
Yeah, I thought I had been.
Oh.
Are you hearing me?
Now we are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, item number 4, the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve or amend.
Motive will make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? All right, this is the agenda we'll work with tonight. Item 5, minutes from the February 10th Plan Commission meeting. Those are also in your packets. Please take a moment, review, and I'll entertain a motion to approve or amend.
Baskin will move to approve the minutes.
Brad.
Motive will second.
Motive seconds.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Good, our minutes are approved. Item number 6, citizen comments. There are no citizens present. Matt, have you received any?
Shelley could comment if she wanted. She is a citizen, but, okay.
I didn't sign it.
Yeah, and I did not receive any comments via email prior to the meeting, so.
All right. Moving on to item 7, unfinished business. There's none listed here. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to number 8, new business. Consideration for and making recommendation on the site plan submitted by ACS RBHS LLC for a multifamily development that has more than one principal building on parcel 11211-1512.07. Commissioners, do you care if we talk about each of these separately, or do
I would prefer to keep them separate for now. I think it'll just be easier to that's how we're going to have it when council reviews them as well. So, but obviously when we get into the second item, I won't probably have to recap as much because it's a similar issue. I'm going to share my screen right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Matt's, all right. Matt's showing the screen for clarity. The first parcel we will look at is lot number 7, which is on the northwest corner of Transit and Commerce.
Yep. So I just want to pull up the GIS just so everybody has a kind of a good understanding of where lot 6 and lot 7 are. So what is highlighted, that's lot 7. So as Chairperson Monday said, it is on the, I guess, north, I guess that's the northeast. Northeast of Transit and Commerce. So it's about a 3-acre site for this parcel. Plan commissioners probably recall that this property was rezoned recently, and then also 11414 was amended recently to allow for multiple principal structures on one single lot of record. Part of the requirements, the new requirements under 11414 was to have a site plan that was approved by this body, then ultimately forwarded to council. And the requirements of the site plan are outlined in under section 7815. There's a subsection under 7815 that deals exclusively with site plan requirements. In your packet, you will note that there is a site plan that I have included. Maybe I'll try to, let's see here. I want to bring that up. Just zooming into bringing up the site plan. So this is the site plan for lot 7. There are 4 proposed buildings with, let's see, 46 total units on the property, with obviously you see 2 driveways that are coming off of Commerce Drive. One thing to note is that for the purposes of front yard, rear yard, our code allows the applicant to pick if there's no, basically they get the discretion. So the front yard, for purposes of zoning and determining where the side and rear yard setbacks are, the front yard's coming off of transit, just for the record. Staff has reviewed this and shared this with other city staff. And for the time being, the application does meet the requirements of 7815 for a site plan. The applicant knows, and the applicant is present tonight. I should have probably mentioned that, but the applicant knows that there's other plans that are going to be required: grading plans, stormwater plans, plans that are typically reviewed by city staff. Most of them end up being under the purview of the city engineer. But tonight basically is starting that process to get approval to have more than one structure on a lot. And based on the site plan that's submitted, the applicant has revised the site plan to meet the standards under 7815, and staff is recommending that this site plan be approved and move forward to council for consideration. With that, I'll take any questions about the site plan and any other issues regarding lot 7.
Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Are there setbacks required around the? Are there setbacks required around the detention ponds?
So, no. Not in regards to, so there's shoreline zoning that's in effect, but wetland ponds are artificial, so they're not, or the wetland ponds, detention ponds are artificial, so they're exempted from that section of our code. So there's nothing from this that would violate any sort of shoreline zoning issue.
And there's no concerns from the applicants about that detention pond?
Not that they've expressed to me, but Jim is here if he would want to address that.
So I can't hear what the question was. Can you repeat it when they say the question, Matt?
Sure.
Getting good audio on this end.
Okay. Mike Myers was inquiring about the setbacks that you'd have to have from the detention ponds that are out there, and if the applicant had any concerns with the proximity to the detention pond.
In terms of what types of concerns, I guess is.
Wait. Mike?
I'm not sure.
He was asking what kind of concerns do you...
Too close? Are you worried about it filling up and going onto your property?
It's proximity and potential issues for maybe flooding resulting from the detention pond.
No, we don't have any concerns over that whatsoever.
No. And the other thing I'll note is that the stormwater plan, I mean, the ponds are built, those ponds were built regionally to accommodate 100% development in the development. So adding this development, no, they still have to meet the stormwater requirements and they still have to meet the infiltration requirements, and Jason will have to do his due diligence, but with the ponds already being there, in a lot of, if this was a 3-acre site and there was no regional pond there, they would have to provide most likely they would have to provide a pond on site. So it's there and it shouldn't impact the site.
Okay.
Matt?
Yes, Sarah?
I have a question on process.
Yep.
And I apologize, I'm new, so I just am not sure. But I was reading through 7815, and there's a lot of pieces missing from the site plan. And so I am not really sure what we're supposed to put forward to the council because there's not enough information here.
I guess what in particular do you think is missing?
Okay, let's start with grading and stormwater.
That's not part of 114.4. So the only thing that they need to address are the requirements for the site plan. So that's 7815-2F, I believe. So basically, once this initial approval has been made, the applicant needs to provide lighting plans, landscaping plans, the grading stormwater plans, and all those go through city staff approval. Because at this point, the zoning is in place where it's a permitted use. And because it's a permitted use, then it turns into a staff level review.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. Other commissioners, do you have any other questions? The chair just asked for any other questions regarding the application.
I guess the only question I would have would be, and it's probably written on here, but for parking space, does it have enough parking for the units that it has?
So,
or is that something that we decide?
Once the site plan is finalized, most likely they will probably have to come to a plan commission, probably for an exemption, mainly because the code requirements for multifamily versus single family they're not distinguished by our current code. So it just says all residential units have to have 2 garage stalls and 1 off-street parking stall, which is not reasonable for a multifamily. Usually the multifamily, it's usually 2 stalls per bedroom kind of thing. Not 2 stalls, but so if it's a kind of a blended average. So if it's a 2-bedroom, you'd expect 2 stalls. 1 bedroom, typically 1 stall. I've seen averages anywhere from 1.5 to 1.8 based on the number of units, but the preliminary review, especially now that they've reduced the number of units to 46, there's 46 garage stalls, so there's 1 for each unit, and then there's a spot in front of every garage door for an additional parking spot, and then there's additional visitor parking. Based on that review, I would recommend that this has ample off-street parking, but that is a good question.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to look like Park Avenue when you drive by.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you.
Yep.
So we're just reviewing high level, the site plan, the building placements.
Correct.
And it sounds like the off of Transit is the front of the building. That's the offset that has to be required.
Well, yeah. So, but I mean, because this is a corner lot, essentially, you have 2 front yards is essentially what happens. So you'll have the front yard setback, and then you'll have the corner side setback. So the corner side is obviously the other side that fronts the street that's not the front yard. And when you drive around town, you see that the houses on the corner, that they kind of have their setback further into the lot because of that, and it gives that appearance. So hence, that's how the setbacks, I guess, impacted this property.
Are these 3-story structures?
I believe they're 2-story structures. Jim, are these 2 or 3-story structures? 2.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I noted that the pervious and impervious area tables are included.
Yep.
You'll notice that they're well under the density maximum allowed in this particular zoning.
Yep.
So, Matt, do you know offhand what the minimum lot size for a fourplex is?
Well, I mean, I think the minimum lot size for a R4 property, which is multifamily, I think it's like 10,000 square feet, something like that. I would have to look at the code.
I'm just trying to be able to give commissioners a sense of the density of this compared to maybe perhaps other types of developments, but
I've looked at that compared to kind of other densities that we have in the city, and this is comparable. Because that's one thing, with our code's, I guess, somewhat unique, or our current code is unique in the fact that usually a lot of codes have like maximum densities, per acre for multifamily, and we do not have that. We rely on our setbacks and our lot coverage to kind of regulate how many units you can fit on a piece of property.
Right. And there's a building height limitation
correct.
also.
Between
the setbacks,
yep.
the impervious area maximum,
yeah.
and the building height, that sort of gives an implicit maximum density.
Yeah, and oddly enough, a lot of developments in town end up being right around about 12 units an acre. So.
Right. This one's slightly higher than that.
Yeah.
This one's about 15. But,
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from commissioners, either for Matt or for the applicant? Okay. Hearing no more questions. So this is a recommendation to council to allow for multiple buildings on the site.
Yep.
And following that recommendation and approval by council, then it would go to the site plan process.
Correct.
That is a staff level process.
Yeah, this approval does not exempt them from all the plans that they are required to submit under 7815.
Okay. Commissioners, we clear on that? Thank you for nodding, Traxler. That helps me. All right. I will entertain a motion either to recommend approval or denial to the council.
I'll move to approve the site plan for multiple buildings on the lot.
Bastian moved.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Traxler seconds. All right.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of recommending approval signify by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All
right, recommend approval. All right, we'll move on to 8B. Similar situation for the lot across Commerce Drive, lot 6.
Yep. Can everybody can see the screen, right? The GIS that I'm showing? Okay. So this is...
Oh, wait. Not the GIS.
No, all right.
We still see your map of the site plan.
Okay. I gotta stop, and then, all right. So, now, wait, maybe I didn't do that. share. All right, now you should be able to see the screen. So this is lot 6. This is right across the street from lot 7 out in Commerce Center. Obviously, as we said, this is another application for 11414 for multiple principal structures on one lot. Very similar comments to the comments I had on lot 7. The only thing I want to make Plan Commission aware of is right now we are working with the applicant to resolve an issue. The city has a lift station on this adjacent property, kind of behind there's two behind the two detention ponds, and essentially with their plan, we are working through to try to find a solution to relocate that access easement so the city can get access to the lift station. It is a lift station for the sanitary sewer, and I think we use it 2 to 3 times a year from what I said, so it's not a heavily used easement, but it's still something that is needed. So basically, that was the one issue that we're still working through. But that being said, with it being the requirements of 7815 and still having to go through the all the other planning process that will need to be submitted, staff was okay bringing this forward and making a recommendation to move this proposal forward to council for final consideration. I would also note that I've had kind of some back and forth between the applicant and then also talking with our city engineer, and I think we have a couple different options laid out to potentially get there. So, being that it's not an easement that actually has a pipe in the ground or utilities in the ground that we'd have to relocate, I do feel very confident that this won't be a huge issue to figure out before a final building permit or any sort of final approval has been granted. So other than that, as I said, this meets the minimum requirements of the site plan that we have under 7815. The other plan, just like lots 7, all the other plans that are required under 7815 are required. So the grading plans, stormwater, utility, landscaping, all those will be submitted after this step has been completed. So once again, I'll open it up for any other questions. I guess I will note that the applicant did show a proposed relocation that is on the site plan, but at this point, nothing's been determined. Any questions?
Where is the proposed?
So the easement right now goes here. It's in the red, and they would move it closer to the property line. I believe when the easement was put in, and these are some of the things that Jason Leith of the city engineer will be working through when we're reviewing this plan. There's a couple things. There's a wetland in here that they were trying to avoid. The other item that I would note is that the topography, the closer you get to the detention pond, gets a little steeper. So where they came through was a little bit flatter. The one thing I note about the wetlands is when the applicant came in to develop their property, they went through the delineation process. So the wetlands that we thought were there, according to the DNR, are not there. So it could be moved, but then there's a few other issues that we're trying to resolve. But as I said, we have a couple options that I think will resolve the issue. And as I said, I think it will be something that we can address.
Any further questions on this? Jim, these are buildings of basically similar construction, right? 2-story, 12-unit.
Correct.
Okay. And then the density here is a little bit lower than on the other parcel. So 12 units per acre. All right, those are just comments on my part. If we don't have any other discussion, questions, or items, I'll entertain a motion.
I don't know if, the chairperson just said that if there are any other comments, or if there are no other comments or questions, he's ready to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation on the site plan submitted by ACS RVHS for the multifamily development for more than one principal building on parcel 11211-1512.06.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of recommending approval signify by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, motion passes for recommendation.
All right, 6-1. All right.
All right, that's the end of our agenda. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Motive will make a motion to adjourn.
Was there a second, Mike?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you for bearing with the